Are you over 50 and looking for a fun, low-impact way to build real-world balance and deep core strength? Try doing downward facing dog on a paddleboard. In this episode, we're diving into Stand-Up Paddleboard Yoga 101 and why embracing the wobble on the water is the ultimate way to fire up your core and stay youthful. Chances of falling in are high. Absolutely. But the fun and the core benefits are even higher. So let's get started. Welcome to the Youthful Older Yogi podcast. I'm MJ Waddell, your host and founder of Share Yoga. I've been teaching, practicing, and loving yoga for nearly 30 years. I'm an advocate of movement, creativity, and staying healthy in mind and body after 50. It's never too late to start, and there's a lot of healthy years ahead. So let's start now. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Youthful Older Yogi. I'm MJ Waddell, the creator and founder of Share Yoga and your host for this podcast. Today's episode is entitled Stand-Up Paddleboard Yoga 101, Safe Balance and Core Strength for Active Adults over 50. That's a weird term, active adults. I hope you're all active. Anyway, so I have just returned from being home in upstate New York for all of June and July. And I had a list of things that I wanted to do while I was up there. And one of them was doing stand-up paddleboard yoga. Sometimes it's referred to as soup yoga. And down here in Florida, it's perpetual summer and there's lots of water around, but it's usually not so safe to be on a paddleboard. There's a lot of alligators, crocodiles, some creatures that I just wouldn't want to be friendly with if I happened to fall in. And yes, I'm across the street from the ocean, which is lovely, but depending on the tides and the waves, it's not always conducive to doing anything on a paddleboard, unless you're a surfer. So anyway, before I start, I want to give a shout out to Caitlin Vitozzi. She is the one that runs it's called Finger Lakes Yoga Escape, and she runs all of the stand-up paddleboard classes. It's done on beautiful Canandaigua Lake. I think she has some other locations in Penyan and Sodus. So if you're up in the upstate New York, Finger Lakes area, you know the regions I'm talking about. But when Caitlin first started to offer stand-up paddleboard yoga, I think it was probably 8 to 10 years ago. And it was just once a week. And now it is so popular. Her schedule runs Thursday through Sunday, maybe even a class with Monday. She has a new incredible team of teachers. And it's just such a popular way to enjoy nature, water, friends, and, a practice that gets you off your sticky mat and onto a paddleboard. So Caitlin is an extraordinary teacher. She's a yoga therapist, and I will put her links down in the show notes. And she advocates for healthy movement and body awareness and does such great things in the community here in upstate New York. So upstate New York still has plenty of summer left. So if you are dropping, in that area, check out the links, and so you can get out on the water and out with her team. You won't regret it. It's really wonderful. So I am always curious about how things start, the origins, and so where did this floating practice actually come from? So according to Google, so it must be true, the stand-up paddleboard, or soup, as I'm going to call it from in this episode, it traces back to Hawaii in the 40s and 60s. And I think people used to be on their boards, their surfboards or their longboards, and with their paddles, and whoever was, offering these boards would take pictures for the tourists. And so they could, focus on watching the waves, but someone would be out there taking pictures. And then water lovers naturally started to stretch and maybe hold some basic poses of yoga on these wide longboards. So fast forward to around the early 2000s, and the paddle boards designed into more wider, more stable and soft decked. Some of them were inflatable, and it just made paddleboarding more accessible, and it just sparked a new movement. So now, when I mention stand-up paddleboard yoga to people, especially older adults, they immediately respond with the fear of what if you fall? What if you fall in? Is it unsafe? What about I have horrible balance? So let's address those fears and directly because science actually proves why those scary moments and those scary elements are the exact reason that this practice is so good for us. So, fear number one, what if I fall off? Well, let's just tell you, I fell off twice, both doing Warrior One, right side and left side, fell off both times. So, and here's the reality: it was shallow water. It was sandy on the bottom. It was completely painless and it was quite refreshing. And, falling into the water had zero impact. It didn't hurt my ego. This practice is meant to just enjoy yourself and have fun and take the seriousness out of, oh, I have to balance the whole time. So anyway, that's fear number one. Now, if you have fear of the water, this may not be for you, but just to let you know that the boards are anchored, so you're not going to float away. And it's where I practiced it on Canandaigua Lake. It's in this enclosed, beautiful section. I did it at night, well, around 6 p.m. and it was beautiful. Oh my gosh, it was just gorgeous and it wasn't really, really choppy. So it was quite serene, the water. So anyway, and if you do have fear, you can always wear a flotation device, life vest, if that's something you're worried about. But the water's shallow, it's waist height, if even that. So. And then the second thing that I hear most often is, well, I don't have really good balance. So I always think I'm going to fall whenever I'm doing a balance pose because usually I do. And that's an opportunity to go back, to stabilize, and to try again and just work on it. That's why we're doing these practices, to work on things that are good for us. So when you're on the static studio floor, your body relies on that stability. So on water, there's no such thing as grounding. You cannot ground. So you have to make tiny, tiny adjustments because the water is going. And then your nervous system starts to recruit these deeper stabilizing core muscles. And it starts to build functional balance that transfers directly to safer movement on land. I think it's a wonderful practice. And yes, nobody, has perfect balance on the water. Look at the surfers. Look at this is where it's such a valuable practice and it's fun. Fear number three is I'll get overwhelmed or I'll get anxious. And so there's something called the blue mind that scientists call the blue mind state. And it's a neurochemical state that starts when you are near or in water. So water, as you know, it just can calm everything down. It can lower your cortisol levels. Your nervous system feels a little bit calmer. And also when you're on a floating surface, it really requires presence. Your brain cannot physically wander to your to-do list because it really forces you to be 100% mindful of what's going on. So many wins in this practice. So before we talk about how to tailor your paddleboard practice, I just wanted to last time give a reminder to you. So if you've been thinking about joining me for my Nurture and Nourish retreat on Bald Head Island from September 29th through October 3rd, this is the final call. Registration is closing and you only have until, I think it's the 15th of August to secure your spot. So we're going to be gathering on the exquisite Bald Head Island for 5 days and 4 nights. This is not your typical yoga boot camp type of retreat. Yes, mindful movement and meditation will be offered, but everything is optional. You choose how you want to nurture and nourish yourself. And once you set foot on the island, everything is taken care of for you. Your accommodations are in a fully renovated home overlooking a peaceful lagoon, and it's just a short golf cart ride to the beach. You'll have healthy, delicious meals prepared for you by Terry Orr. She's a nutritional coach, and she excels in teaching and explaining simple ways on how to prepare and eat with health in mind. So this is a women's only retreat, and only 6 spots remain. So if your body and soul are craving a dedicated space to reset, recharge, and revitalize before autumn, do not wait. Head right to my website, shareyogawithmj.com, shareyogawithmj.com, to see all the details and to connect with me and lock in your registration before they close in a few days. I'd love to see you on the island. Okay, let's get back to the water. So what I love most about Soup Yoga is that it offers a lot of different choices. You can choose to challenge yourself with some yoga poses. You can, and this is how Caitlin teaches it, you can just sit there on the board for the hour and enjoy the serenity and the peace. So you never have to stand up if you don't want to. It's all about what you want to do. So I like a challenge, and the challenge of the unstable board really challenges my agility, my strength, and especially core stability. So trust me, the first time you try to stand up, it can feel super challenging and quite scary. The board is tilting and there's just no grounding here. You're just wobbling. But once you're upright, you feel so accomplished. You kind of just freeze because you're surprised that you were able to stand up. And when you're up, your core abdominal muscles are constantly working just to keep your body balanced on the board. So you're engaging all these tinier stabilizing muscles, you're improving your balance and your coordination. And again, this practice forces you to slow down and to tune in what you're doing. So it helps you master your concentration. And the fluidity and the unpredictability of the water, that encourages a slower, more mindful practice. You literally have to go with the flow. What I felt was a bit of frustration and surprise because what is typically easy for me to do on my mat felt sometimes nearly impossible. It felt like it was the first time I was ever attempted to do any of the standing poses. And like I shared before, I fell off twice, both times attempting Warrior One on the right and left side. Expect to fall if you're new. This is part of the fun. And then, the next day, my body really knew and it felt like it had worked. It's always so satisfying to know that my muscles had to work in a new way while I was having so much fun. And then Shavasana, lying on your back, floating in the water, feeling the gentle rock of the water, looking at the sky, watching the birds, listening to the sounds of life, the distant kayakers, boaters. It's just complete peace. It's the best. So I just wanted to share these few thoughts on stand-up paddleboard yoga and encourage you to give it a try. I always advocate for learning new things, trying new things. And again, it doesn't have to be a fearful anxiety type of experience for you. It can just be you being out on the water, enjoying the summer, and enjoying floating, and enjoying kind of letting all your worries and cares float away. Okay, so as we wrap up today, again, I want to thank Caitlin Vitozzi. Thank you for creating such an inviting, welcoming, judgment-free space where people can wobble, laugh, float, and rediscover the sheer joy of play. So check out the link in the show notes. And if you're anywhere near upstate New York, there's a few weeks of summer left. Just grab it. Go try it. Ask yourself, where in your life can you stop trying to ground down so rigidly and instead give yourself permission to wobble, to laugh, to float, and to try something new like stand-up paddleboard yoga. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Again, you can always visit my website, shareyogawithmj.com, for all the information on my retreat, Nurture and Nourish. But don't wait. So until next time, have fun this summer, keep playing, keep enjoying, and until we meet again, keep sharing yoga. Namaste. Thank you so much for listening. Now you can go to my show notes on YouTube or Buzzsprout and send me a voicemail or email. I'd love to hear what topics you'd like me to speak about, what your thoughts are on the episodes, and maybe I'll share your message on a future episode. Please subscribe to my website, shareyogawithmj.com, so you can receive my newsletters and be first to know about my retreats, workshops, courses, and freebies. If you navigate on social media, you can find me mostly on Facebook and a bit on Instagram at Mary Jane Waddell. That's Jane with a Y, Jayne. This podcast would not be possible without the help of my editor, Dan Jones from Cocoa Beach Productions. You can find Dan at cocoabeachweb.com. And of course, thanks to my generous guests who share their time, insights, and youthful wisdom. Remember, the Youthful Older Yogi podcast is presented solely for educational, inspirational, and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for a physician or other qualified professionals. Okay, yogis, stay well, stay youthful, and keep sharing yoga.